next most important aspect is the choice. What we think or what we know or what we believe in is in the end of little consequence. The only thing of consequence is what we do. That was John Ruskin for you. One must be more concerned with the behavior of the leadership team and legislating their behavior. If the leadership team is on the right page, the rest will follow naturally. One consultant, based on their experience, stated that 95% of the times when they took over a troubled company, the problem was right at the top. Similar to children acting up being only a symptom of the real problem, which is existing with the parents. The famous quote, "There are no weak platoons, only weak leaders." Praxis. Traditional thinking teaches us that our thoughts and feelings drive our behavior. Now, while this is true, practice teaches us that the opposite is also true. Our behavior also influences our thoughts and our feelings. When we make a commitment to focus attention, time, effort, and other resources on someone or something, over a period of time, we begin to develop feelings for the object of our attention. Praxis also teaches that if we dislike someone and treat them badly, we will come to hate them even more. Praxis says, if I make a commitment to love and extend myself for those I serve and align my actions and behaviors to that commitment, positive regard for those people will follow over time. Jerome Bruner, a noted Harvard psychologist, says, we are more likely to act ourselves into a feeling than feel ourselves into action. Again, leadership begins with a choice. Some of those choices include facing up to the awesome responsibility of aligning our actions with our good intentions. Let's deep dive into this. Neurotics, for example, assume too much responsibility and believe everything that happens is their fault. People with character disorder generally assume too little responsibility for their actions. They assume that everything that has gone wrong is someone else's fault. Now, on the other hand, we have determinism. Broadly, determinism means that for every effect or event, physical or mental, there is a cause. For example, genetic determinism. This allows me to blame grandpa for my lousy genes and is why I am drunk. Psychic determinism allows me to blame my unhappy childhood on my parents, compelling me to make poor choices. Environmental determinism allows me to blame my boss for making the quality of my work life so miserable, which explains why I behave badly at work. Now, even though genes and environment have an effect on us, we are still free to make our own choices. Each of us is fully aware that we are prone to particular vices or behaviors that we need to exercise extreme caution around. The stimulus is always coming at us, but we as human beings have the ability to choose our response. Viktor Frankl said, man is ultimately self-determining. What he becomes, he has made out of himself. People have both potentialities within themselves. Which one is actualized depends on the decisions, but not on conditions. Leadership begins with a choice. Choice we make to align our actions with our intentions. We will choose to be patient or impatient, kind or unkind, actively listening or merely waiting for a chance to speak, humble or arrogant, respectful or rude, and so on. Developing leadership skills. The 4 stages of developing new habits or skills also apply to learning new leadership skills. Stage 1 is unconscious and unskilled. This is the stage where you are oblivious to the behavior or habit. You are either unaware or uninterested in learning the skill and are obviously unskilled. Stage 2 is conscious and unskilled. This is the stage when you become aware of a new behavior but have not yet developed the skills. Stage 3 is conscious and skilled. This is the stage where you are becoming more and more skilled and comfortable with the new behavior or skill. And stage 4 is unconscious and skilled. This is the stage where you don't have to think about it anymore. This is when you ski down the mountain feeling as natural as walking down the street. Hence, leadership is not about personality, possessions, or charisma, but all about who you are as a person. I used to believe that leadership was about style, but now I know that leadership is about substance, really character. To conclude our subject, what is the payoff or what is in it for me based on servant leadership? Well, let me talk to you about a survey. 100 people over the age of 90 were asked, if you have to live your life again, what would you do? Let me share the top 3 observations or answers. They were, number 1, we would risk more. Number 2, we would reflect more. And number 3, we would do more of that which would live on after we are gone. In our role as leaders, we have a unique opportunity to make a real difference in the lives of others. Houston Smith's classic, The Religions of Man, discusses the relationships among the great religions and concludes that in one very important respect, they are the same. Each of the world's great religions contains some version of the golden rule. Vince Lombardi once said, we don't have to like our players and associates, but as leaders, we are called upon to love them and treat them as we would want to be treated. It's the example of a father with 5 sons. The least the father expects from the children is that they would treat each other with respect. As important, treat each other as they want to be treated. One major payoff for the discipline of leading with authority is the 3-letter word joy. Not happiness that is based on circumstances. Many great leaders have spoken of this joy. It's an inner satisfaction and conviction of knowing that you are truly aligned with the deep and unchanging principles of life. Serving others breaks you free from the shackles of self and self-absorption that chokes the joy out of you. Imagine, infants are the ultimate selfish creatures. Some people don't grow out of the me first emotion. They create walls around themselves and are the loneliest and most joyless people. This is what psychologists say. When we deny our needs and wants and extend ourselves for others, we become less self-absorbed and more other-conscious. And joy is the byproduct of this extension. Dr. Carl Menninger, the famous psychiatrist, was asked, what would you recommend if someone were about to have a nervous breakdown? He said he would tell them to leave the house, cross the railroad tracks, and find someone in need and help them. When we do somebody a good turn, we naturally feel good. Dr. Albert Schweitzer said this, I don't know what your destiny will be, but one thing I do know. The only ones among you who will be really happy are those who will have sought and found how to serve. There is great joy in leading with authority, which is serving others by meeting their legitimate needs. Well, having concluded the servant leader, let me say this. The definition of insanity is continuing to do what you have always been doing and hoping for a different result.